Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 4:30-23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shudhaya Shantaya Namasvadishtaya Nasya Paratam Vilasandvayaya Namam Jagatstannaladayeshu Grahitamaya Gunavigrahaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Dear Lord, we beg to offer our obeisances unto you. When the mind is fixed upon you, the world of duality, although a place for material enjoyment, appears meaningless. Your transcendental form is full of transcendental bliss. We therefore offer our respects unto you. Your appearances as Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva are meant for the purpose of creating, maintaining, and annihilating this cosmic manifestation. Purport by our beloved founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. A pure devotee whose mind is always engaged in the service of the Lord can certainly appreciate the impermanence of the material world. Although such a devotee may be engaged in executing material activities, this stage is called anasakti. As explained by Srila Rupa Goswami, anastaktasya vishayan yatartam babayunjataha. The devotee is always unattached to material activities because in the liberated stage, his mind is always fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. This material world is called Dvaita, the world of duality. A devotee knows very well that everything within this material world has been a manifestation of the Supreme Lord's energy. To maintain the three modes of material nature, the Supreme Lord takes on different forms as Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. Unaffected by the modes of material nature, the Lord takes on different forms to create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation. Conclusion is that although the pure devotee appears to engage in material activities in the service of the Lord, he knows very well that material enjoyment is, for sense gratification, has no use whatsoever. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Data Dalakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shab Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Savitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschalya Desatarine. So, it is quite fitting that is being prayed, my dear Lord, we beg to offer our obeisances unto you. So one can ask, why did you have to beg to offer obeisances? Can't you just offer obeisances? Why do you have to beg to offer obeisances? My dear Lord, begging means you're begging for something. Like the beggars in the street, give me a rupee, give me rupees. Why do we have to beg to offer obeisances? Begging means humility. Becoming very, very, very humble. In other words, now I can just barge in. Okay, Mara, beg this. No, you have to beg, my dear Lord, please bless me. Please give me your mercy that I may be able to offer my obeisance unto you. So this is extreme humility. I'm begging to be offered obeisance unto you. And the next sentence is very, very meaningful. When the mind is fixed upon you, the world of duality, although a place for material enjoyment, appears meaningless. Well, we can ask ourselves, does it appear meaningless to us or not? Ask yourself, when I look out of this world, does it appear meaningless? Or does it appear to be a place of enjoyment? It's a little embarrassing, isn't it? We still think we can squeeze some pleasure out of this place. Yeah, there's some pleasure here. I can go here, I can do this, I can eat this, I can see that. Yeah, there's some pleasure here. Yeah. So what does that mean when we're still finding some meaning here, some enjoyment? It means our minds are not fixed upon Krishna. That's what it means. We're still loitering here in the material energy, trying to squeeze some pleasure out of the material nature. It reminds me of the old example, panak panascharvata charvananam, again and again chewing the chewed. Some gentleman, he got some sugar cane, chewing on it, he spits it out. And some beggar comes, maybe there's some, or a monkey comes, maybe there's some sweetness in that sugar cane, it spat out sugar cane. I mean, the monkeys will definitely come, the bandars will definitely come. This can squeeze some pleasure, you see. The bandar, this monkey, yeah, squeeze some pleasure. So are we going to be like monkeys, trying to squeeze some pleasure in that place where there is no pleasure, you see? Or we become human beings, we come to the actual human platform. It's our choice, you see. You're not forced to be a bandar or a monkey, you see. Be like a monkey by the material nature. My Devi is not forcing us, you see. We're not forced to be Krishna, be karmis. We're not forced to be enjoyers of the material world. It's our free choice. But the difficulty is, for thousands and millions and billions of lifetimes, we've been choosing to try to enjoy this place. There is absolutely no enjoyment. Isn't that asinine? Isn't that insane? Here we are trying to squeeze some pleasure from that place. There's no pleasure. Zilch. Zero. So it's time we wise up, not be like monkeys. It's time we wise up, become little intelligent. We have a brain better than monkeys. A brain better than monkeys. The monkey cannot come. Of course, there's some here, but they're not hearing the Bhagavatam class. They're looking for something. They're also here, but they're not hearing the Bhagavatam. They're hanging out right over there, but they're not here to hear the Bhagavatam. Oh, let's hear the Bhagavatam now. Where is there a banana? Where is there some this or that? So we have to take advantage of this human form. Tato Brahma Jagasa, now, after millions and billions and trillions and quadrillions of lifetimes, we have achieved this very most valuable human form of life. So now let us utilize it for its actual purpose, self-realization. Who am I? Where have I come from? What is the purpose of my existence? What is the meaning of life? These rascal so-called teachers, professors, scientists, authors, leaders, they don't teach us these things. They simply teach, work hard, get a good job, make money, get a nice house, get a nice car, and have a nice coffin at the end, you see. These leaders are completely rascals, these bogus leaders. They don't teach us anything. They misguide us, these so-called leaders of society, the politicians, the authors, the gurus, the so-called gurus, they're misguiding us. They're all misguiding us. We are the victims of being misguided again and again and again throughout our entire lives. We've been misguided so badly. This is why the association of the bona fide spiritual master is so important. That's what changed my life. when I actually agreed to hear the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and associate with the followers of Srila Prabhupada and learn the mood of the followers of Srila Prabhupada. You follow in the mood, the footsteps of the Vaishnavas, who taught me what it means to love someone. Love doesn't mean what you can give me. I love you, what can you give me? Give me, give me, give me. That is not love, that's lust. You see. Real love means totally giving yourself to the beloved, you see. I never experienced that love anywhere in the material world, but from the devotees I learned what is actual love. You totally give yourself to the beloved. So that is Krishna and his bona fide representative, the bona fide spiritual master. So when you enter into that realm, you see, there's the meaningless realm of temporality, ignorance, and misery, and there's the unlimitedly meaningful realm of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. The amazing thing is this, my dear devotees. The amazing thing is this, even while you're apparently situated in the same place, it becomes transformed, you see. Just like I surrendered in a little address called 2906 Dancy Street in Austin, Texas. That was an ordinary house in an ordinary neighborhood, a few blocks away from the interstate highway. It's an ordinary place. But when it was engaged in the service of Srila Prabhupada, it became a Vaikuntha planet, you see, transformed completely into a transcendental abode. So we have to learn how to transcendentalize our existences from this temporary world full of ignorance and misery to that unlimitedly blissful, ecstatic paravyama, the spiritual sky. In other words, the spiritual sky, since Krishna is within your heart as the Paramatma, the spiritual sky is also within you. That spiritual sky of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, you already have it within you. You just have to enter back into it and stop misidentifying with the external plane, you see. There's the external plane, the external energy, and the internal energy. Why is it called external and internal? You ever wondered why those terms are used, external and internal? Even the material world, they say meditation means to go within. It's very common, even that people like to meditate, you got to go within. But it's true, you do have to go within. The internal energy means within, you see. So the Hare Krishna mantra is your key that unlocks the door to the world within. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is why, as we many times explained to you all, Bhakti Vinod Thakur advises, Bhakti Vinod Upadesh Ekbar Namasi Bhattare, just once relish the nectar of the name. See, that's all it takes. Can you imagine how powerful the name is? Even if you can just say Krishna one time with actual relishing. As we many times explained, now we're doing it mechanically. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. Get my rounds down, Hare Krishna. Mechanically, is it? We're chanting mechanically. That's the problem, isn't it? Mechanically chanting. That's why we don't enter the world within. We stay within the external world, the material world. Yeah. This material world is a hellish nightmare. I mean, it's getting worse and worse. It's shocking to me how, as the Kali Yuga progresses, it's shocking to me how horrible it's becoming. I mean, I can't believe how horrible it's become. When I was a kid, we can't ever dream of such things going on in this world. I mean, the brutality of warfare. During the Vedic age, they had war, but it wasn't like these wars nowadays, you see. They would fight to the death, but it was like an athletic event. It was like the Battle of Kurukshetra had been going on, but across the road there's some farmer plowing the field, peacefully saying, well, who's going to be my ruler? Where do I pay my taxes to? He wasn't even worried about being injured or killed by the war, you see. But now civilians are being mowed down like grass. Innocent civilians are being murdered like crazy. And the warfare has become so brutal, you see. This is one example. Wars become more and more hellish. Previously, it's very organized affair. Okay, let's settle up who's going to be the ruler. That's all. But now it's like it was more like an election. Like an election. Wars were like an election. Who's going to be the ruler? What to speak of all the other things going on? Transgenderism. Sometimes they want to change back. Because the whole thing with the surgery, and oh no, I made a mistake. Can I go back? But actually, why this transgenderism is there? People are not satisfied. I'm not satisfied being a male or a female. Why is that? Because actually I'm not a male or a female. But they think I'm not happy being a male, I'm not happy being a female. They don't realize that that's because you're misidentifying with your body, you see. Instead of transgender, our philosophy is transcend gender, you see. If I be transgender, we have something better called transcend gender, you see. What you really have hankering for, my dear sir, is to transcend your gender. You don't want to transgender, you want to transcend gender. So our movement is a solution for all these problems, you see. It's a solution for all these problems. The transgender thing, they're trying to enjoy sex in this way and that way. I can't do it as a hetero, I have to do it as a homo. I mean, it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. All because they're misidentifying with this flesh and blood. When they come to the transcendental platform, all these problems are immediately solved, you see. I don't need to get my pleasure by gratifying my genitals, which is not really me. It's just an external covering. I get my actual pleasure by reconnecting with the Supreme Person. A pure devotee whose mind is always engaged in the service of the Lord can certainly appreciate the impermanence of this material world. Interesting word, appreciate. I like that word. Prabhupada uses the most amazing words. If you look into his, go deep into his purpose, it's amazing, his language, his choice of words. Appreciate. Do you appreciate the impermanence of this material world? You say, I hate it, but appreciate it? Oh, I really appreciate the impermanence. How could you appreciate something, the impermanence of it? Anybody have any idea? How could I appreciate its impermanence? Well, it's a very simple answer. Because thank God it's impermanent. It's so much suffering here, like falling down the steps or whatever. So much suffering here, you see. Thank God it's impermanent. It's not permanent. So it's actually very much appreciable that it's not permanent. Thank God it's not permanent. See? It's a very appreciable thing. It's impermanent. And then Prabhupada continues, although such a devotee may be engaged in executing material activities, this stage is called anasakti. Let's see if it's in the verse anyway. Anasakti. So this is a nice, very nice points for those of you who are working jobs in the material world. There's many of you working jobs or going to school or whatever. It's a very nice points here for you to encourage you all in your activities, you see. A devotee is always unattached to material activities because in the liberated stage his mind is always fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. So, even while you're working a job or you're going to school, in these material atmospheres, you see, you can actually transcend the whole thing by understanding this is impermanent. I'm simply doing this as a matter of maintaining body and soul together. But that's not my real identity, because I'm not really the body, but since I've got it, it's my duty for Krishna to maintain it, not to let it starve. So in this way you can actually be liberated even while engaged in material activities by being unattached to them. And how do you do that? His mind is always fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. So the question is how then we can always fix our minds on the lotus feet of the Lord in all times, places, and circumstances. That is the big challenge. This is why we have what's called a wonderful thing called the
Krishna. Welcome to the wonderful world of Krishna consciousness.
The dimension of eternity, knowledge, and bliss.
There are 17 participants in the conference.
This is why we have this wonderful Brahma Muhurta hour, you see. This is a special time of the day when the mode of goodness is very, very predominant. Then once you get Brahma-Muhurta, then you go into the mode of passion. Go here, go there, run, 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 honk, 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 beep, beep, beep. It's honk, honk, honk. Go here, go there, make money, make sales, blah, 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 serve the boss, blah, 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 blah. Mode of passion. Then finally it goes into the mode of ignorance. Sleep. But that early morning time, you see, Brahma Muhurta. This is why it's very auspicious to go to have even if you're at home, have Mangal Arati. You see. Begin the day with Garbhastakam prayers, japa and Garbhastakam. When I joined ISKCON, that was it, japa and Garbhastakam. But then later on, a new thing was introduced in ISKCON called Tulsi worship, which made it even more wonderful, more enlightening. Then a couple of years later, another thing called Guru Puja. You see, so Prabhupada gradually added these things, but the whole point is that morning program is a very, very auspicious time. If you can finish your rounds before sunrise, you're in good shape. Now some cannot do that, but it's an ideal thing. Get those japa before sunrise, because that's when it's easier to focus. Once the sun comes up, Rajaguna, you see, you have to fight the Rajaguna. But the Tamaguna before sunrise makes it much easier. If it helps, that mode helps you go deeper, deeper into Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. There's nothing to do except chant and hear. You see. So it may not be practical for you, but then that's the ideal if you can do that. Chant before the sunrise, your japa. And we go to the next paragraph. This material world is called Dvaita, the world of duality. So that means the spiritual world is Advaita, the world of non-duality. The devotee knows very well that everything in this material world has been a manifestation of the Supreme Lord's energy. There's nothing that exists which is not a manifestation of Krishna. Everything. It's Prabhupada watching the sun now. It reminds me of the first time I was with Prabhupada, back in 71 in the Matha Yatra Festival. There was 300 devotees, about 3,000 of those long-haired people with beards called hippies. Prabhupada said, you have all seen God because Krishna says, I'm the light of the sun. And then he said, every time you drink water, you can remember Krishna as the taste of the water, immediately become Krishna conscious. To become Krishna conscious is not very difficult, it simply requires practice. Why do we say practice? Why don't you just do it? Why practice it? Well, in the beginning, we have to practice. It's like somebody says, I want to play Madangam. Can they just pick up and go boom, 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 boom? No. Got to get some, well, here's how you do this beat, and you go like this. And you get somebody to teach you how to play Madangam. So you practice. You got to practice while, and then become, be one of those kirtaniyas who can really, do the Madanga and go, wow. So you can't do that in the beginning. You have to practice. So Krishna consciousness also requires practice. Because in the beginning you just can't just go pure bhakti. See? Is that possible? Pure bhakti. It'd be nice if we could just flip the switch, turn on pure. Wouldn't it be nice if we could flip on pure devotional service? It'd be nice if we could do that. Maybe some can do that. I know I can't do that. I've been practicing for 53 years now. Yeah. But there's a nice saying that encourages us. Practice makes perfect. If you don't give up the practice, you will make progress. I've been in this movement for so many decades. Many of my Godbrothers gave up the practice and they went back to being practically karmis once again, a little touch of Krishna consciousness. If you keep practicing it, as they say, through thick and thin. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult, right? You keep through thick and thin, up and down, black and in all situations, keep practicing it. Every day, 16 rounds, every day, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. Keep your practice going, decade after decade after decade, and it will work for you. You will experience an amazing transformation gradually, gradually, gradually. You can actually feel how Krishna becoming more manifest in your life, more apparent within your heart. more apparent wherever you go, you see. You become more and more Krishna conscious. That is the whole point, isn't it? To become Krishna consciousness. Why do we call that why do we call our movement the International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Because the whole point is to become Krishna conscious. We should not mix the whole point of this movement and the whole point of the human form of life. It is simply become more and more and more and more Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious, and gradually burn away all the non-Krishna consciousness. Throw out the garbage and turn on your soul. Your soul is nicely Krishna conscious. But there's all this garbage here. There's lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, envy. All this garbage, you see, polluting our consciousness now. So flush out the garbage and turn on your actual identity as an eternal spiritual being. Each one of us has an eternal identity in the pastimes of Krishna in the spiritual world. Isn't that amazing? I'm not so-and-so this or so-and-so that. I'm actually Krishna's one of the associates of Krishna in his pastimes in the spiritual world. So what am I doing here trying to enjoy separately? Don't make noise, sir. Stop that. Don't make noise. We're having class. Stop that. Stop that banging. So, are you ready? Turn on your soul. Throw all the garbage out. Or you think, no, this garbage is kind of nice. I like the garbage, you know. It's my precious garbage. I've been relishing it for millions of births, the lust, the anger, the greed. To give it up immediately, come on, it's so nice, you know, little sense gratification here, little sense gratification there. Sense gratification, ki jai. Want me to give it up? Can I give it up? Me give it up? Oh yes, that's what you have to do if you want to actually become blissful. Because the more you're attached to that garbage, the more you're going to keep suffering. The more you're attached to the garbage, the more you're going to continue suffering. So you have to decide, you want to suffer, you want to bliss out? Your choice. No one's going to force you. You can keep your attachments if you want. It's your choice. You can keep all those material attachments if you want to keep them. It's your choice. All we can do is, we're not going to force you to become pure devotees. Put a gun and become a pure devotee or blow your brains out. No. It's your choice. You can choose sense gratification or Krishna consciousness. Or you say, well, I'd like to take a blend. 1% sense gratification. Is that okay, Gurudev? Initiation means 0. Now 0 sense gratification. I take a vow kicking out all sense gratification. No illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, gambling, kick it all out with boot. Acharya said, spit at it. Spit at it. Spit, 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 spit. Get out of my heart, you damn sense gratification. You're not welcome here. So if you want to actually contact the lotus feet of Krishna, you actually want to become able to see Krishna face to face, eye to eye. We struggling neophytes have to kick out all these tendencies we have, gross and subtle, to enjoy sense gratification. Kick it out. We have to kick it out. We have to be convinced that even the slight tendency to try to enjoy, even mentally, this material nature is my greatest enemy. My greatest enemy. It's keeping me entangled in a hellish nightmare, birth after birth after birth after birth. Krishna sees everything. He knows everything we're thinking about, everything we say, everything we do. Krishna is fully aware of everything we're doing. He's noting down everything. And there's another person noting everything, that's Yamaraj. Yamaraj is keeping his records too. So whose book do you want to be in? Yamaraj's book or Krishna's book? It's our choice. You know what happens if you're in Yamaraj's book? Who are you going to meet at the time of death? Those fierce-looking creatures called the Yamadutas. Come and rip you out of your body. Just now there was a thorn tree, thorns everywhere, and they took you you were dragged across the thorns tree. Your body was dragged across a tree of thorns, and you're ripped it by hundreds of thorns, dragged across a thorn tree. You like that, or you like? I'd like to go to airplane, a Goloka airplane. Sure. When you only dragged across a tree of thorns, or a nice, comfortable seat on Goloka Airlines. We have a choice, you see. We have a choice. So human life means intelligence. If we don't use our intelligence, we're animals. Actually, I would tell you frankly, my dear listeners, we're lower than animals. Because the animals are doing their natural thing. The monkeys are doing, the bandars are doing their natural thing. See? The dogs are, every species is doing their natural thing. Everyone. You understand these points? Hindi bolo? English bolo. Do you understand these points? You see? Every single living entity in the 8,400,000 species, they're all acting totally naturally, except for we human beings who have human consciousness, including the demigods. In this human form of life, we have intelligence to understand, we choose between matter and spirit. The animals have no choice but to go along with the material energy. They're just puppets in the hands of the material energy. The dog is going to be a dog. There's nothing you can do about it. The monkeys are going to be monkeys. There's nothing they can do about it. But we human beings have the choice whether to serve matter or spirit. You see? We have a choice. Everyone's serving, that's a fact. We're all servants. We can't change being servants. We're going to serve one way or the other. But we, as human beings, have the choice to serve spirit instead of matter. You see? Krishna instead of Maya. So the bona fide spiritual master's duty is to enlighten the disciples and the people all over the world in understanding they have a choice and how to properly utilize that choice in such a way to get the greatest benefit out of their lives. You see? How to maximize on the human form of life. How do you get the profit, the actual profit out of this human form? Just like an investor, he wants to intelligently invest his money so he, instead of losing money, he makes money. So we have to properly invest this human form of life so we get unlimited profit instead of losing everything, going back down to the animal kingdom. You see? So in this way, we have to understand things very clearly by the mercy of our beloved founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. Now one may ask a question here, how is it says the Supreme Lord takes on form as Brahma and Shiva? They're not incarnations of God. How can Prabhupada say the Supreme Lord takes on forms as Brahma? Well, in a sense, Krishna is actually manifested as everything in the material world. Everything is a manifestation of his energy. So even the external energy, or marginal energy, everything is his energy. So in that sense, Krishna takes on the form of Brahma, but not that Brahma is, he's a jiva like us. He's a very highly elevated jiva. But Krishna takes on that form, he acts through that form, we can say, for the creation of the material, this universe. There's like all these species, the 8,300,000 species, they're coming out by the arrangement of Lord Brahma. So Krishna is acting through Brahma for all these material, the creation and destruction, also Lord Shiva. And his own manifested form, fully Vishnu Tattva, Lord Vishnu. So Krishna is acting directly and indirectly through these three forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are the avatars of the different modes, three modes of nature. Brahma is the mode of passion, Shiva is the mode of ignorance, Vishnu is the avatar, the mode of goodness, you see. So he's acting through these three modes. Everything is going on here under the influence of these three modes. You can analyze anything in the material world, and everything is acting under the influence of these three modes of material nature. Nothing is independent. Everything acting under the influence of these three modes. The three modes are everything is totally locked up. Nothing is acting out of the influence of these three modes, with their guna avatars, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And now we'll get to the conclusion, and then we'll open it up for Guru Maharaji's realizations and questions. The Now the last sentence is, the conclusion is that although the pure devotee appears to engage in material activities in the service of the Lord, that's interesting. The pure devotee is never engaged in any material activities, although he appears to. That's interesting. Why is it that he only appears to engage in material activities? You see? Because he's doing everything, the pure devotee is doing everything in the service of Krishna, nothing in the service of Maya. So everything he does is as good as the activities of the Brijavasis in the spiritual sky. None different. Like Prabhupada was a manifestation of Brajadam, or the Brajavasis. He was always in the mood of inhabiting Vrindavan, whatever he did. You see. In all situations, whether he's talking to a scientist, whether he's brushing his teeth or whatever, everything was always completely in the service of the Lord. He knows very well that the material enjoyment for sense gratification has no use whatsoever. That's a very nice statement. No use whatsoever. It's completely useless. No use whatsoever. But whatsoever amplifies it. Has no use, period, but no use whatsoever. That makes it even more solid, you see. No use or no use whatsoever. It amplifies, it enhances the idea of no use. In other words, absolutely, totally, absolutely no use. That's what whatsoever means here. He knows very well. Why did he say he knows well instead of very well? See how Prabhupada is emphasizing certain things. He knows well, he could have said, but he knows very well. Prabhupada again is emphasizing how well the pure devotee knows things. Not just well, but he knows very well. Or we can say very, 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 very well. You see? He knows these things absolutely well, that's the point. The material has no use whatsoever, material enjoyment is absolute shama eva kevalam, and has no use whatsoever. So I'm asking Guru Manaji for her words of wisdom in this regard. She's any words of wisdom?
I'm not so transcendental that to all the atmosphere, so I'm thinking about here.
You thinking about the bandars?
Yes.
Monkeys?
So,
Huh?
if we are supposed to be transcendental, we should be tolerant of everything. Then one can be a transcendental.
Your Prabhupada was not tolerant of noises in the class. I can tell you, I was there when he wouldn't tolerate. What is that sound? Prabhupada was not tolerant any class.
Prabhupada once said, but we cannot tolerate, we cannot tell the animals, we have to have the stick. We are sitting in their atmosphere.
I'm saying I don't mind if you have to hit bump, 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 but I'll pause my lecture. That's all I'm saying. Okay, any questions? Yes.
Srila Gurudev, who experiences the pain and pleasure, the body or the soul?
Say that again?
Who experiences the pain and the pleasure?
The self. You're experiencing the pain and pleasure. The I am, he says, the ego is called the I am. It's not you're experiencing pain because you're misidentifying with the body. The self is experiencing the pain because of misidentification.
That self is the body.
Somebody's experiencing it, right? You hear? Somebody's experiencing. If you're not experiencing, who is? If you're not feeling the pain and pleasure, who is? Who is?
The body or the soul, who is experiencing?
The body is just a machine. Body has no consciousness of its own. The body, if you go up and kick a dead body, does it feel any pain? Give it a kick. It's a dead body. I understand. Go ahead and kick it. Does it feel any pain? No, because the self, the Atma is not present. The Atma, the self, the I am, is experiencing pains and pleasures. You understand?
And after death, if Yamaraja is torturing us, who experiences? The soul experiences the torture.
The subtle body. In the subtle body. If you're being dragged by the Yamadutas, that's the subtle body. It's like when you dream, you have a nightmare. The gross body is finished, but in the subtle body, one is identifying with the mind intelligence as an ego, the false ego, then the subtle body is experiencing the pain. The self, through the subtle body, is experiencing the pain. The subtle body also is not experiencing the pain, but the self misidentified with the subtle body is experiencing the pain. Again, it's the self. Is that clear? Anything else? Hari-o! Hey, don't distract the class, you bandars. Okay. Material what? Material activities.
Including eating and sleeping.
Yeah.
So, how is it possible to decrease eating and sleeping practically? Does it just happen by time, by chanting?
How's it possible to minimize? Actually, it happens naturally as you become more Krishna conscious. Young devotees want to pack in all the prasad they can. But they get older, they don't want to eat. They just naturally don't want. They're not forcing themselves to eat less. They naturally want to eat less. It just happens naturally over time. You keep chanting, you get more and more pleasure from the name, more and more pleasure from preaching, more and more pleasure from hearing, more and more pleasure from the kirtan. It's a natural progression that happens without force. It just happens naturally. Not so. They say 1 second. No, thank you. How about third? Oh no, thank you. It's a natural thing that happens over time, not artificially.
Is it possible for a young person to do it?
Huh?
Is it possible for a young person?
Yeah, of course. Even a young person can become detached from these things. By getting more and more pleasure from the name. You don't have to wait 50 years. It can happen even as a young devotee, you see. If you're really relishing Krishna consciousness, the eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. You see. It's like some people, they can't hold off on mating, they have to get married and have some kids, satisfy their mating urge. But some people know, I don't need mating. Spit at the thought. I can just be a brahmachari. Tapasa brahmacharina, shamena cha, jamena cha. That nice sloka. Tapasa brahmacharina. So the brahmacharis can relish that one. It's a really cool sloka. Tapasa brahmacharina, shamena cha, jamena cha. Brahmacharis can go, yeah, tapasa brahmacharina. And relish it, Better than sex. So yeah. So some can give up right away and some have to do it gradually. So either way is good. But you have to do it one way, either become renounced right off the bat or gradually. Either way is good. Either way you're moving towards renunciation. So Grihastha life is going step towards renunciation, you see. It's not mated life, you see. Grihastha life means regulated sex, not unregulated sex. Once in a month for having kids, that's it, finished. After 15 rounds of japa. Is there anything else? Does that answer your question? Anything else? Yes.
Gurudev, you said we have to get out of material entanglement and material desires, but some part of the day we always get entangled in material activities. So how can we get through that? Because when we are going through material activities, our mind gets material desires.
How to go through material activities?
Yes, because while doing them, our mind gets material desires.
I don't quite understand. Can you summarize?
While doing material activities, our mind will get material desires.
While doing material activities, will my mind become attracted to them? That's why we have to chant good japa in the morning. We even get a higher taste from chanting rounds than we do from going to a job and making money. Vishaya banivartante niraha rasidehena rashavashang rashopashra parang vishwanivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in his consciousness. So just like you're going to school, right? So you have to, a certain pleasure in learning things, because you can use that knowledge, 1 plus 1 = 2, it's practical things. So there's no harm in taking advantage of that knowledge, but you have to understand the greatest pleasure is in Krishna's name. That's why you chant Guna Japa before you go to school. That will help you see school in the right way, and not be carried away by it. Does that help? Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Srila Gurudev, we are attracted to material activities. Is this because we are not realizing it is impermanence?
Absolutely. We're thinking, I can enjoy forever in this body. We're forgetting that it's impermanent, you see. Yes, I can enjoy. We're forgetting that it's impermanent, you see. Forgetting that at any moment I can die, you see. We're forgetting that. We're thinking I can enjoy forever in this body. So we have to, that's why we have to hear from the great sages, just like that at Slokam. Yamaraj asked Maharaj, remember that sloka? Yamaraj asked Maharaj Yudhishthira, what is the most amazing thing in this world? Maharaj Yudhishthira, ahani bhutani ganchanchilamayam sheshastavaramichtami kimmashtaryamatahappadam. At every moment, countless numbers of people being dragged to the court of Yamaraj. For those who are meaning, I will live forever. There's nothing more amazing than this. You see? So we have to be, when we come out of this illusion, I will live forever here. Living forever in this. Isn't it? Anything else? Anything else? Or we call it quits now. Yes.
You are very expert in your relationships with the devotees, disciples, even non-devotees. Can you share what is your secret for the nice relationships?
The way to actually relate with everyone is it's called loving relationship. You see? It's like we have that verse, Tadati Pratagrinati in the Nectar of Instruction. You see? 6 kinds of loving exchanges with the devotees. You give gifts to the devotees, you accept their gifts. Just like today, I was struggling. I had this lot of pain right now since I fell down yesterday. And I was struggling to get up out of in the temple room to the next step. There was a sannyasi sitting there, and he offered me his seat. He offered me his chair. I took it. So he gave a gift in charity, and I accepted it, you see. This is called loving exchange, you see. So it was a very wonderful feeling. Actually, it was so blissful having the loving exchange with this sannyasi. Because I've been in great pain getting up, trying to get out of the temple room without falling down on the steps. And I got up there and he said, you can have my chair. And I had a nice view of the Guru Puja, a perfect chair sitting there, seeing the whole thing, sitting comfortably in the chair. And I was practically crying. I was so happy at that loving exchange, you see. So we have loving exchange with the devotees and even with the non-devotees, you see. Because actually, everyone's actually a devotee. They just don't realize it yet. So if you see everybody's a devotee, they're simply a covered devotee. So let me see what I can do to give them a loving kindness to them. Just like I gave the example, I went to Dr. Meek for a dental appointment in Austin. And he was a very nice man, very easy to talk with, conversations. I said, well, then I went back for the follow-up visit. I said, I'm going to bring Dr. Meek a Bhagavad Gita. But I'm not going to sell it to him. I said, give me $5 discount on your fee, and you can have the Gita. So he very happily accepted. He said, yes, I accept your offer. He took the Gita. He said, you'll be very surprised how much I'm charging you a checkout. I'm going to the checkout is free. It's $140 Bhagavad Gita sale. It's a loving exchange, you see. Give somebody a book, you take a donation, or you get, just like I get people to, I went from my chiropractor in Austin, Dr. McCowan. I like the cow word in his name. I told him it's very nice, McCowan. But anyway, I said, can you say these words? Hare Krishna. He said, all right. Hare. Even his assistants, I had them all do the same thing as I was leaving the clinic. Can you all say this? Hare Krishna. He said, all right. They all said, Hare Krishna. I said, you all been unlimitedly blessed. So why not try to engage everybody in chanting the holy name? I said, just some stranger on the bus, having a little, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Tobacco, or I'm here from here or there. Can you say this after me? Hare Krishna. Many people repeat it, just to be a nice guy. Hare Krishna. He said, now you've been unlimitedly blessed, you see. So why not be friendly to everybody? Why be impersonal with anyone? Try to be kind and engage everybody, you see. It's easy in Vrindavan here. You can say Hare Krishna to everybody and they repeat it back. Going on, Hare Krishna, and they go Hare Krishna. Vrindavan is such an easy place to engage with everybody. Everyone will say Hare Krishna here, but even outside the material world. Just like we're in the airport. I gave in thought today the story. I had a beautiful flower garland there in South Africa, a beautiful flower garland, you know. I was there in the airport, some lady who was a CEO of a lock company, a managing director. She came out, Jenny Smith was there. She came in, she said, wow, she looked at the garland, she was amazed. So we gave her the garland. And she was in ecstasy. She got wearing a flower garland now, yes. So just some carny lady who was a sales director from a lock company. She came up and now I gave my emails up. She wrote me an email, a little exchange there, you see. Why not have loving exchanges with everyone? Engage everybody in Krishna consciousness, you see. The more that's called preaching. Preaching is called love. Preaching means love. I'm giving you my love. I'm giving you Krishna's love, you see. By preaching, you're telling about Krishna, telling who you really are, you see. So, Prabhupada said, preach to the world. Our duty is to preach to everybody, make them all Krishna conscious. Of course, the blasphemers, no. We don't waste your time with blasphemers. You see, that's your kindness to them. Don't waste your time with blasphemers. Like some fallen God brothers, some envious God brothers, they sent me this email how the ISKCON leaders poisoned Prabhupada. So I didn't reply, just cut them, block their emails. The blasphemers, you have to block them. Don't waste your time. There's so many people who are not blasphemers who are willing to reciprocate with you. So don't waste your time with blasphemers. Don't waste your time with blasphemers. Find that only 1% may be blasphemers. Other 99% can reciprocate. 99%, that's my experience. 99% are reciprocal. But that 1%, well, even Prabhupada told us to defeat the 1%. He wants to even defeat the 1%. Nice lecture, morning walk, he was talking about how we have to make everyone Krishna conscious. But that requires more expertise. I don't expect the neophytes to do that. Even the advanced devotees may not always bother to do that. It's so difficult. But ultimately, we have to make everybody Krishna conscious, ultimately. As there was an old saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. Okay, next. Yes. Repeat for me.
Shiva is said to be the greatest devotee.
What's that?
Shiva, Lord Shiva is, but he is in the mode of ignorance.
No, he's not in the mode of ignorance. He himself is not in the mode of ignorance. But he acts as he's the Lord of the mode of ignorance, but not that he's in ignorance. You see. No. He's a pure devotee of Krishna, actually. He's completely pure Vaishnava. But he's acting in that capacity to be the Lord of the mode of ignorance. He himself is not in the mode of ignorance. Just like the prison warden, he's not a prisoner. He lives he has an office inside the prison, but he's not a prisoner. So, and that was in the similar way, Krishna, Lord Shiva, is not under the influence of ignorance, but he acts as the Lord of the mode of ignorance. Okay? So I guess we'll stop here. Unless there's any last burning questions you have to ask. I have to ask this question. There we go. I got the first part was
chant Hare Krishna and be happy, but irrespective of chanting, I cannot become happy.
And you're not becoming happy by chanting Hare Krishna? That means you're chanting offenses against the holy name. If you're chanting and not blissing out, that means you're a nam-aparadi, you're committing offenses against the name. So you should get that list out of the Nectar Devotion and study it very carefully. Which offenses am I committing? Because that's why you're not happy. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm so miserable. Oh. Because you're committing offenses against the name. It's like cleaning the house. I got a nice house, but it's all dirty. I'm moving in a beautiful house. We go in, it's all trashed and dirty. I'm not happy in this house. It's all trashed and dirty, you see. Clean house. You got a clean house. And then you'll be in bliss chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Anything else?
Prashadam.
Any burning question before prasadam?
Prasadam, because monkeys will jump on that.
The monkeys will jump in and take the prasadam. We have to have some guards around while they give out the prasadam. The monkeys.
Why you need the guards?
Maybe have a guard on each side with sticks.
They're transcendental.
The monkeys may come in and try to grab some. We can give them one piece, it's all right, but not the whole box. Okay, we'll stop here. Jai. Thank you very much.